Welcome back, everyone, to another fascinating and unbelievable journey into the world of coins where history, art, and mystery come together in a single piece of metal that many people overlook every single day. Today's story is about one of the most extraordinary coins ever discovered, a coin that has made collectors across the globe lose their breath: the 1983 Lincoln 1-cent Liberty penny from the United States. Now, imagine holding in your hand something that looks like any other penny you've ever seen: small, copper-colored, light in weight, and marked with the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln. But this one is not ordinary. This is the 1983 Liberty 1-cent penny that has stunned the numismatic world with its incredible worth of $140 million. Yes, a single penny, originally worth 1 cent, now valued at $140 million because of its unbelievable minting errors, its rare composition, and the mystery surrounding its creation. If you think this sounds like something out of a treasure story, you're right, because the story of this coin is pure magic for collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. Every now and then, the U.S. Mint, despite all its precision and control, produces coins with unintentional errors or anomalies. These errors might seem tiny at first glance: a misplaced mint mark, a doubled image, a strange color, or a slightly different weight. But when such errors occur under certain conditions, they can turn an ordinary coin into an artifact of incredible rarity, making it one of the most sought-after coins in the world. And that's exactly what happened with this 1983 Liberty 1-cent coin. To understand how this coin became so valuable, we need to travel back to the early 1980s, a time of major change for the United States Mint. In 1982, the U.S. government made a significant decision to change the composition of the Lincoln penny. Up until that year, pennies were made primarily of copper, about 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, the rising price of copper made it too expensive to continue using that metal for coins. So, beginning in mid-1982, the mint switched to a cheaper composition, a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper, resulting in a coin that looked the same but weighed much less. This switch from copper to zinc created one of the most fascinating periods in U.S. coin history. In 1982 alone, pennies were struck using both copper and zinc planchets, and this overlap led to many transitional errors. Some coins were accidentally struck on the wrong planchets, or with old dies that weren't meant for the new metal. When 1983 arrived, the mint had fully adopted the new zinc composition, but as history has shown, perfection in mass production is nearly impossible. Somewhere in the process, a few coins were mistakenly struck using leftover copper planchets from the previous year. These became the legendary 1983 copper pennies, and they are among the rarest coins in modern American history. Now, the 1983 Lincoln penny, worth $140 million, is believed to be one of these extraordinary transitional error coins. It's a coin that should have been struck on a zinc planchet weighing 2.5 grams, but instead, it was struck on a 3.11 gram copper planchet. That slight difference in weight reveals the enormous historical importance of this error. Because the composition change was official and complete by 1983, no copper pennies should have existed at all. The discovery of even one genuine 1983 copper penny completely defied expectations. It meant that something truly rare had slipped through the cracks at the U.S. Mint. What makes this coin even more fascinating is that it's not just its metal composition that's special. There are other errors and anomalies that make it stand out, each contributing to its incredible $140 million value. Some versions of the 1983 penny have a double die reverse, meaning the design on the back was accidentally struck twice, slightly misaligned, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the words United States of America, e pluribus unum, and 1 cent. When this doubling is clear and sharp, it becomes one of the most dramatic and collectible minting errors ever. Combined with the rare copper planchet, it turns a simple coin into a once-in-a-century masterpiece. Collectors and experts have studied these 1983 errors for decades, and each discovery adds to the intrigue. Some coins were struck with slightly off-center designs, where the rim appears uneven or part of the design is missing. Others show what's known as a broad strike, where the coin wasn't properly held in place during striking and spread out wider than normal. Even tiny details like die cracks, cuts, raised lumps caused by die breaks, and repunched mint marks can make these coins worth incredible sums. Every imperfection tells part of the story of how such a valuable coin came into being. The famous 1983 Liberty penny worth $140 million is often thought to have a combination of these factors: a transitional metal composition, a doubling error, and perhaps even a misaligned die that gives it a distinct, almost ghostly look when viewed under light. The coin's luster, sharpness, and preservation only add to its mystique. A coin like this in pristine, uncirculated condition can easily rank as one of the greatest discoveries in U.S. numismatic history. Let's take a closer look at the features that make this coin stand out. On the obverse side, we see the timeless image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This portrait has appeared on the penny since 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Above his head, the word Liberty appears boldly, along with the year 1983 to the right and the famous motto "I in God We Trust" arching across the top. On some of the rare 1983 era coins, the date and lettering show doubling or slight distortions caused by a die shift during the minting process. Even the spacing of the numbers or the alignment of the mint mark can make a huge difference in determining rarity. On the reverse side, the familiar Lincoln Memorial design by Frank Gasparo dominates the surface. However, in certain rare examples, the doubling on the reverse lettering makes it appear as if the words have a shadow, especially on 1 cent and United States of America. Collectors describe this as a strong doubled die, one of the clearest and most dramatic visual errors ever produced on a penny. When you tilt the coin under light, the doubled letters almost seem to shimmer, creating an effect that no machine could intentionally reproduce. Now imagine discovering such a coin by accident. Perhaps someone bought a roll of pennies from a bank, or inherited an old jar of coins from a grandparent, and decided to weigh 1 or 2 of them out of curiosity. They notice one feels slightly heavier, more solid than the rest. Upon weighing it, they find it's 3.11 grams instead of 2.5, a telltale sign of copper, not zinc. And then, when examined under a magnifying glass, they notice the doubled letters or a faint die crack running across the rim. In that instant, what was once just a common penny becomes a treasure worth more than entire fortunes. The 1983 penny story is also a powerful lesson in how history, technology, and human error intertwine. The mint's shift from copper to zinc was meant to save money, but it unintentionally created one of the most valuable modern coins in history. It's a reminder that even in a world built on machines and precision, imperfections still happen, and sometimes, those imperfections are what makes something truly priceless. Let's talk a bit about how coin experts, known as numismatists, verify such rare finds. They begin by examining the weight, diameter, and thickness of the coin, as even the smallest difference can reveal a lot. The next step is metal analysis, sometimes done using X-ray fluorescence XRF testing to confirm whether the coin is copper or zinc. Then, they carefully inspect the coin under magnification to check for die doubling, mint mark characteristics, and overall strike quality. Only after passing all these tests can a coin be authenticated as a genuine 1983 copper penny or a legitimate mint error. Once verified, the coin is graded on the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1 to 70. A perfect MS-70 coin is flawless, showing no marks or wear even under magnification. If this $140 million coin was graded near that level, its value would naturally skyrocket to record-breaking heights.